And as promised, we're back. So here's a close-up of what we got for our brick. Now, in order to give these some shape and some more interest, we're going to do something here which I've seen most diorama makers, or many of them I should say, they'll use a pencil, which is great because a pencil is like tapered off into a point, you know, like let's pretend this pen is a pencil, and then you just stick it in the lines, and then you just kind of score into it where you cut, and it'll create a nice gap and open up the foam a bit, and it'll end up looking real nice. But what I have is I have some clay sculpting tool things, and I'll show you how we use them. So I have this dull blade, flat kind of knife thingy, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to find where the score is, and I'm going to push into it and run my knife around like this, and it's going to create a bigger score. Yes, there's a reason. And then once I'm done that, I'm going to actually do the same thing to all of these panels here. I couldn't go without letting you hear the wonderful sound this makes. ASMR Dio building with Mr.Spriken. Okay, so me being a dummy, I did all this nice thing and I didn't record it. Okay, it wasn't too much, but look, see this tool? It's a tool for working with clay and such, I think, and it has this metal ball at the end. Comes in different sizes. Different size ball. And what I use this for is I use this to give some shape to the brick. As you can see, just go over the edges and it gives a nice three-dimensional look. See that? Can you see? Do you see? Yeah. It works. It's kind of my signature Spriken brick work using this tool. Most, like I said, or many diorama users, diorama maker users use, I don't know, what am I saying? I don't know. They use pencils, which is good and it works. But I use this because I have it. Wait, look, I still have some area I can show you. Yeah. Well, yeah, an important thing. When you're doing some brick, don't forget to wrap it around your door frames, because a brick doesn't just, otherwise it could be a superficial brick. For it to be real, you can wrap it around. And it has a better effect when you can see a little bit in the door frame. So we have our basic detail things all worked out, but look what we have here. So when we were cutting out this door, remember we kind of we had to overcut to get a nice smooth clean cut. Now I wasn't factoring in what I wanted to work for the background of this, like these vertical slat things, whatever we're going to call them. Slats. What is a slat? Who knows? But I wasn't factoring in how it could look in the future here. If we were doing brickwork with this could really blend right in. You probably wouldn't notice it. But since it's kind of clean and we got this, I figured let's kind of add a little detail around this door, which will cover that up and also make it just a little bit more interesting as well. And what we're going to do is we'll just take a scrap piece of 1/2 inch thick foam, and what you want to do is you want to get a ruler and you want to measure it, and then you want to cut out, little strips. Of course, you'll be measuring this and you won't be just cutting it on the fly like this, but this is just to show you. And then, you know, you can cut this in half. This is if you don't have a hot wire cutter. I do, so lucky me. But, you know, you just cut out made to measure what you want for our door frame. That's what I'm doing. And I'll show you what that gives you. That gives you a little something like this. We will frame this door with some small pieces, and it will hide some of those cut marks and will give us a nice kind of, I don't know, little extra detail. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick that on. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick it on with hot glue, and it'll be a-okay. So here's where we're at. Now, here's that piece from earlier that we could do the lip, make it maybe potentially on top, and have our lights in there. That would be nice and easy peasy, and it would look good. But I think I wanted to do a light right here above the door, and that'd be our light. And then maybe have this detail piece drop like down here, but I'm not liking how thick this would look like that. And if we do this, I think it's going to look better, but I don't really want this to be as deep as it is. I think we want half of this, and I'll show you why, methinks. Let's go ahead and cut this in half. So here we are. I cut our piece in half, almost in half, one slightly a little bit thinner. And I was thinking we could do something like this. We could have this guy up here on top as a little bit of a lip, and then this one underneath like this, and we have just a couple pieces of detail to kind of make this stand out a bit more and not be so flat. And then our light is going to be here. I can do this crafty stuff for days on end and never get bored. It's just so much fun seeing things come to life. Ideas you had in your head taking shape in the real world. Okay, now I said I was going to score this, so let's score it. We want we don't want some boring one line through the middle. Let's do like end bits. Flat knife out, give it a little bit more oomph. So here's what we have. All right, I don't want to go too crazy with the detail in here, but I just thought it's kind of harsh having these vertical panel slat thingies just meet the brick here. You know, it's like, it doesn't kind of seem all that realistic. Like, it seems like there should be some kind of edge to this where one ends and the other begins. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this same frame bits that we were cutting out, and we're going to add it along here. Yeah, and I think that's going to, it's going to be much better. So we're just going to literally just glue it, cut it and glue it into place. There we have it. Yeah, I think that looks much better. Gives it some nice depth. Before we go dressing up our door with like a handle and such, I want to show you something about how our door is going to fit. Now, since I put this trim around, I could just slot this door in exactly how it was cut out. in a way, we didn't even have to cut out the door. But it's going to line up flush with this brick. And even though there's a lip there from the frame, it could still work, but I want it to have a little bit extra. So if we take it out, and if when we're putting it back in, we don't put it in fully flush, but you see we leave a gap where we can see the brick going and turning in, that's going to be more interesting and better, I think. And so from the back view, it's going to look a little something like this, right? Where it's going to be sticking out a bit. Now you can do that, and you can go ahead and glue it in if you like and do it there. But since I have a hot wire cutter, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this door in half so it's not as thick, and then I'm going to stick it in there. Yes, and I'll show you why in a moment. You don't have to do that. Like I said, it can work just as is if you want to put it in there, but yeah, since I have it, I will do it. Time to dress up our door here, and we need a handle and perhaps some hinges. Even though it's not going to be a functional door, we want it to look functional. Now this is where you can get creative, and you can find any kind of like greebly parts or whatever, or even like try and make your own door handle and stuff out of foam. All that could work nicely. Or look, if you want a door handle like the round ball thingy, look at this. I got these from the dollar store. It is Party Picks. Oh, Basil, chill out. And look. So it has this ball on the end, and all you have to do is cut this off, or maybe just leave a little bit of extra to poke through, and you would have a, you know, a decent doorknob. Yes, that could work. But this kind of door we don't require a doorknob like that. We want a handle. Now, the only thing I have in my bits containers are, well, some door hinges, which we will use. But these handles, which I purchased from AliExpress, yeah, they're just like little simple handles with screws, and I'm gonna utilize this. Then I'm gonna add a little piece of foam as one of those latches. Yeah, that'll work nicely. Now let's go this way. Yeah, so we'll have our door handle on this side and our hinges on this side. Let's do it. I'll put a link in description where to get these handles, and yeah, then you can go and get them if you like. Very cheap, super cheap. I think these are probably only like a couple bucks for a bag. And it's nice and convincing when it's on here. Our Wolverine here. Sure, why not? Let's call that a good place. I forgot to mention, all these dials that I do are in 1/12 approximate scale. And how do you work in 1/12 scale, you might be asking? Well, for one thing, it's probably the easiest scale to work in because it's roughly 1 inch in our world equals 1 foot in the real world. So, yeah, if I'm doing a brick and I'm measuring out 1 inch for the brick, that's going to equal 1 foot in real life. So, I don't know. I find that that helps me out when I'm trying to get as accurate as possible. But you can't be perfect, but, you know, it works out quite nicely. So, like, let's say in real life, a lot of rooms, like your bedroom, probably has like, I don't know, 8-foot ceiling or something maybe, or even shy of that, 7 foot, anywhere from 7 to 9 foot. So then you just know that's 9 to 9 inches. Easy peasy. In you go, buddy. Okay, that works. We have a handle. But it's kind of looking a little non-functional. Which is okay. Some door handles look like that. But we want to give it that little something to make it seem more real. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom. How much can we zoom? Okay, let's just say there. Okay, watch this. I'm going to cut a little piece of foam spare excess foam like this, and then we're going to cut a little corner there and a little corner here till it's kind of like this triangle shape, right? And we're going to glue this into place. Oh boy, I hope this works. Gotta be brave. Just a glob of glue there. Hope it doesn't dry instantaneously. And then we're going to take our little piece of foam and we're going to stick it here. Okay, now, can you see what we did? Ah, there we are. So it's like a little latch, you know, that you would push down when pulling on this to open the door. Yeah, and I think once it's painted, it will look convincing. Let's hope. And the glue should keep it in place there. Basil agrees. All right, time for our hinges. And these hinges I also get on AliExpress. And look, it comes with so many. And it's, again, so cheap. Only a couple bucks. So good investment to have. You don't need these. And you can make hinges. You can like just use scraps of foam or various things to get that hinge look. But these hinges, even though they're functioning, we won't need them to function now, but they'll give us little something extra. Check out our door. It's ready to go. We have our hinges there. And look at this. This is one of the things I really love about making dioramas. I keep everything. I keep every little bit of thing that I think could have an alternate function. And I just went through my bits drawers and I found this little round piece of plastic, and look, it's perfect for a lock for this door, I think. So that's amazing. So just keep your eyes peeled for anything, you know, lying around the house, or things that might go in the recycling or garbage, or, you know, if you have any action figures or things that have, you know, runners or whatever. Even runners can be used. But yeah, in this case, yeah, we have a perfect lock for our door, which is nice. And I'll show you what that looks like when it's inside. Yay! Now, before we put we fix our door up in here, let's get this light in, shall we? For that, we need to make a hole. And what I like doing, it seems like it's a cleaner way of doing it, is I use a screwdriver. So we're just going to go ahead. Yeah, we're going to live dangerous. We're just going to go ahead and make the executive decision. The light lives here. And we're going to turn until we come through the back. Isn't that scary? Now we don't have to worry too much about how the back looks, obviously. It's just the front. Once you have that hole started, then you look for items bigger, a little bit bigger, cylindrical, to force through and kind of make that hole bigger, but without stressing the foam too much to break it and make it all messy and ugly. Until gradually we get to the size of this light. Now I found this tool that I have, another tool for working with clay and stuff, is about the perfect thickness that I need for this. So this is my final kind of push. And then we just wiggle it around, get that hole a little bit bigger. Now I think it's a good time to test. Okay, I am happy with that. Look at this. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. A way I like to make it easy on myself with the doors fitting is sometimes instead of just gluing them to the inner frame here, and maybe having, like, let's say I created an extra little bit of room in between here and here where some light might show through. I don't really necessarily want that. So what I like doing is I just like getting a piece of cheap foam. It's like dollar store foam or, you know, hobby foam or anything like that. And it doesn't really matter the thickness. I like using black, or if not, if I don't have it, I just paint it black. And what we do, we flip this over. We line up this piece where the door is. And we're just going to glue that there. So that look, nice and black. No light's going to get through there. So that when we have our door in here, okay, mistakes were made. Well, not really a super mistake, but it's good that I could show you this stuff learning on the fly. I didn't factor in these hinges, how much they would add to my super flush door that was cut out, right? Because this door came right out from this. So it was like perfect. No room for anything else. So all I had to do is, as you can see, I just made little indent grooves in there to factor in where our hinges are going to sit, so that the door can fit inside here as it should. And then that sits over top of our black piece of foam that will get glued in place. And now, no light from the backside is going to be shining through this. And it's going to be awesome possum. So, and like I said, we don't have to glue this door and struggle with gluing up the inside of this frame, which could leak out and look a little bit messy. We can just glue this door right straight on the backing of this. And no one's going to see any messiness. So, perfect dual use. And all we have to do is just add a little bit of glue in there. And just stick them in. Another great thing about this method is since we're sticking it to that piece of foam on the back, we're going to get it even. We're going to get that even spacing in here all the way around, side, tops and bottoms. Yep, without even having to do any careful placement. All right, so we're just about done part one of the this tutorial series on how to make your own custom diorama. And I think, what do we want to do? We want to do this floor of ours is looking, it's going to be a tad plain. Now, there's lots of things we can do to spruce it up. But one thing I'd like to do, if this is going to be like the outside of some kind of warehouse or, you know, some kind of business where there's heavy things going around and whatnot, I don't want this floor to be, this ground to be super even Steven. So we're going to stress it. How do we stress it? Well, there's lots of different ways you can stress it, but I'm going to use some elbow grease. Look at this pointy elbow. I'm going to go off the tops. Off the top ropes and go. Yes, I'm gonna just push in here. It may seem a little mad, and I'm gonna continue and roll it around. Some edges as well. Next step, grab your tin foil. Okay. Roll some up into a ball like so, and we're gonna go all over this, all over it. And you know, you can even get like a couple of balls on the go, and a little bit different shaped, give you some different look. And we're gonna just roll these suckers all over the place on this ground. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because, you know, I have all these cool things you can buy for dioramas. making, you know, dry ground, asphalt, concrete, all these things. But, you know, even though these aren't too expensive, maybe at like 13 bucks a pop or something, if you really want to do it on the cheap, and you're on a budget and things, and you don't want to really, you know, buy all these supplies, I'll just show you, you know, how you can get your own textures and still make things look cool. Just like this. Stuff around the house. You have tinfoil. Everybody has tinfoil. Guaranteed. Yeah, we're really just stressing the heck out of this thing. And look at this. Look at all that beautiful detail we have already. And those elbows, you may or may not be able to see at the moment. But it'll look more realistic when it's all said and done. A couple more smushes in here. Oh, check it out. Construction is done. Yes. Let's zoom in here on some things. So we have our gravelly outdoor road, ground, whatever you want to call it. We have our nice door, frame, brick. We have those panel-y things, our light, and some points of interest up here with detail. Yeah, that didn't take long at all to build, did it? It will fit perfectly in our display cases. Or your display cases, I should say. So, it may not look like much yet, but it's going to turn out really cool, trust me. And I think it's got a lot of interesting things about it. And it didn't take us long to do this at all, which is pretty exciting. Well, I mean, general terms, not long, meaning not weeks or anything. This could be done in a day, easily. So there are 2 more parts to this series coming, and they will come in quick succession because I know many of you probably out there want to build and know how to do things and kind of get help and work along with me. So those videos will be coming out post-haste. And they will be the next video, which will be the painting portion of the video, show you how I paint up things. Yeah, so we'll paint the whole thing, top to bottom, all done. And then the last last video, last part in the series, yes, will be customizing with cool accessories to really bring this thing to life, like just all the little extra bells and whistles and such, yes. And then this will go up on the Etsy store, and you can buy it and own a special piece of Spriken Studios history forever. Until it melts, spontaneously. Oh, I hope it doesn't. It won't. Okay, so, I'm off to do things, worldly things, Spriken things, school things, who knows? But what I do know is I'm going to be making more cool things for you here on Spriken Studios as soon as humanly possible. So stay tuned for the next part in this series to build along with me, your very own custom diorama. And also stay tuned for more Musume videos. I haven't forgotten about the project in the works, believe me. There'll be some review videos and stuff coming too as well. So, this is Mr. Spriken. Yeah! Here's Spriken Studios with my new Spriken Studios t-shirt. If anybody wants one of these, feel free to message in the comment and I can always make some. But for now, this is a one and only Spriken Studios shirt with my new Spriken Studios sunglasses. What am I doing again? Oh yeah, I'm saying bye. Ciao for now, and stay cozy and creative, my friends. Bye-bye.